Mid-season awards. This is going to be interesting. So, I went back and watched the quarterly awards just to keep track of like what we said, but I only saw like half of it. But really, that's the only part I needed to see. So, you can either open it up with an award, or I'll open it up with an award. However you want to do it.
The MVP.
Oh, okay. Damn, we're just gonna start out with the MVP. Okay, I thought we'd, okay.
No. I see where you're getting at. Fine. I did so. Maybe. Hey, since you don't want to start off with MVP, then you say it. Then you say an award.
Well, I mean, you just picked the easiest one, and like, yeah, we're gonna do that one. So, best team. Who's the best team in the NFL right now? Mid-season point.
The Rams.
The Rams? Why do you say the Rams? After you said the Chiefs last episode.
Because of their. What are you talking about in like the first?
Oh yeah, the quarter. Yeah, you said the Chiefs. Now you're saying the Rams. So tell me what made you change your mind.
Well, you gotta. I mean, the Rams probably right now are the most. Like they've traded for the most people. Now I'm not saying the Rams were long, but as of this year, I mean, Jared Goff is playing really good. Something that we wouldn't expected him to play this well at the beginning of the season. My dog was running around. Then you still got Todd Gurley, who's just you thought Zeke was eating. No, Todd Gurley's eating as of right now.
Third in MVP voting, by the way, Todd Gurley.
Yes. And then see, you just I don't even have to go like by positions, because you get to sit here and like. As receivers, you get Brandon Cooks. Your quarterback is Jared Goff. Your running back is Todd Gurley. That's right there. You would think that's a pretty good team without even seeing anybody else. You feel? Then you go there to defense. You can see Marcus Peters, who they just snagged from the Kansas City Chiefs. You got a key to lead, which was not that big of a snag from the Broncos, but it's still a big pickup. You got let me think of some people. Well, you get my point. You see what I'm saying? Like their defense is straight. Aaron Donald, Dominican Sanu. I mean that's what you have to win games. And as you can see, that they've been playing well. The reason I said earlier that the Chiefs at the moment was well, you gotta think, dude. When we said which team, it's not we're not predicting what's the best team for the whole season.
I know. That's why.
What's the best team right now? And that's why I picked the Chiefs, is because the Chiefs were filling each other more than the Rams were at the moment. Because the Rams were having close games, they wasn't playing the way they could with that roster. But now they are playing like they can.
Alrighty. Even though the Rams are undefeated, this was still tough for me. I had to think of everything. I am going to pick the Rams, but I had to consider, the Chiefs. Yeah, they lost to the Patriots. I mean, a lot of teams are going to lose to the Patriots. Let's just be real. And the Saints, I thought since their Tampa Bay game, they've rebounded pretty well. So I have to give them credit as well. But I am going to go with the Rams. The only thing that concerns me, a lot of close games for a team that's undefeated, barely any weaknesses. They had a close game against Seattle. They had a close game against Denver. Had a close game against Green Bay. All in the last, month. But they're still balling. I mean, regardless, you look at the depth chart, you look at who they got, and, that's basically all you need to know. But they look very beatable. And I will not be surprised if they were to lose to the Saints potentially this weekend. Not saying they will. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. But this team is very impressive. You have arguably two MVP candidates on one team. Jared Goff, who's been balling out, and then Todd Gurley, who's third in the voting right now. And, just looking at that team, of course, pretty good. The only thing that concerns me is all those close games. It could have went either way, but at the end of the day, they're 8-0, taking care of business, and we're just going to leave it at that.
Alright, that was a good one. We both agreed on the Rams. What's next award you're trying to hit on?
We'll revisit Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year.
Ooh.
I'm interested to hear this one.
Yeah, same. You go first on this one. Let me give me some time to think.
Sean McVay. It's Sean McVay. Still.
Why?
They're the only undefeated team. There's that. They played pretty well, obviously, based on their record. The offense is playing great. Even without Cooper Kupp, the offense is still moving. I know it's Cooper Kupp. He's the third receiver on the depth chart, but you know, the way that they use their receivers, anybody can have a big game. We've seen Robert Woods do it. We've seen Brandon Cooks do it. We've seen Cooper Kupp have a couple of good games as well where he's gone off. So big play potential for everybody, and to have one of those guys out, it's a blow. And they were able to do damage with John Reynolds in the game against Green Bay. He had some good, you know, catches against Denver. So, I mean, even with somebody out of the lineup, and Aqib Talib has been on IR for at least a month now, or maybe even longer than that. So they're just still pushing. They're still pushing with the same guys they have on their team. And, you know, depending on who you ask, they're probably, not saying they are, probably the most exciting team to watch in football.
Alright, I'm not going to steal your answer. So, or not even still, I'm not going to. I want to say something else. Unlike
Okay.
the best team. Fuck it. The second best team in the NFL, I'm going to go with Sean Payton as Coach of the Year.
All right, interesting. Now tell us why your answer changed from Andy Reid to Sean Payton.
Did I say Andy Reid?
You sure did.
Alright, nigga, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to shout calling you out on everything. Mr. Jeffrey, okay?
More views.
That's what I'm gonna do.
More views. I win either way.
Alright, okay, you won. Well, as much as I hate to say it, Saints are a really good team.
I wanted to pick them so bad, by the way. Just FYI.
Super Bowl not Super Bowl. They are up there in Super Bowl favorites.
I did pick them to win, so there's me calling myself out again. Consistency.
I'm still confused.
Consistency.
I'm not looking back because I don't want to. You're not
Consistency.
getting no views. I'm still in them.
Consistency.
Shut up.
Gotta be consistent.
Oh really?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Go ahead. Tell me what you mean by that.
Consistency. You gotta stick to your guns throughout the entire season. I didn't change my answer for coach or MVP. Or not MVP. I didn't change my answers for coach or best team. So I'm on the right track. And meanwhile, you changed 2 answers. You had a change of heart.
Teams change.
Stick to. So does the weather.
Alright, well, that consistency is going to be real nice when they don't make the Super Bowl. And you could be consistently wrong. Okay?
Hey, I don't mind. I'll still pick them to go. I picked them to go. If they make it to the championship or the divisional and lose, guess what? At least I can say they made it.
They lose in the divisional round. So who's going to win the Super Bowl now, JJ? The Saints, but they're eliminated. I don't care. Consistency.
Well, I picked them to win. I'll just own up to being wrong. No big deal. I'm willing to own up to being wrong. But go ahead. Tell us why Sean Payton is your coach of the year up to the midseason point.
Well, some of the guys, like, nobody. This is gonna be weird where I'm going with it because it's about a player, or it's about 2 players. But then you're gonna see, like, where I'm getting at in a second. So what I'm saying is, like, nobody expected Alvin Kamara to be good, or to be as good as he is. Nobody really expected Marshawn Lattimore to be as good as he is, except for a couple of stuff, or except for maybe not that much this year. He's had some oopsies, poopsies, and that's you can say that about a lot of second-year players. I think we can agree on that.
Todd Gurley. Yep.
Yeah, but it's just what he's done with that roster, man. Like, it's not that there's and you can say there's obviously coaches you can say about that too, but there's not that many impact, or there wasn't that many impact players on that roster, but he's made them into it. You know, like Alvin Kamara, Marshawn Lattimore, people like that, and he's pretty much he's taken that team. I know it's players that have played, but it's all about coaching, and he's pretty much coached that team to be a really good team that I never really expected. Because 2 years ago they were bad.
They were middle of the pack.
Yep, and then they just like that, and you got to give props out to Sean Payton on that. And that's what I'm gonna say about that.
Absolutely. It looks like his 2017 draft has definitely paid off. That's a good pick. It's time for you to, even if it's a new award, it's time for you to bring something to the award table.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow, Defensive Player of the Year. Wow.
What? There's not that many. You saying that's too early too?
No. We did this. We did this at the quarter mark, and we both said Khalil Mack, and my answer hasn't changed. It's still Khalil Mack for obvious reasons. I mean, I think he missed like the first game of his career like last week, or he's gonna miss the first game this upcoming week of his career. He's been consistent. He's always there, reliable. I mean, there's not much you can say. He's been an impact player for the Bears. I said it in the quarterly awards. He took a top 12 defense and made him a top 5 defense. Adding one new shiny toy did it all. So, props. So yeah, we pretty much agree on Khalil Mack. You want to touch up on that? Uh-oh, we lost Aaron. I don't know where you went. There he is. We found him. Yeah.
My bad. Mine's gonna be a Khalil Mack too. It's something I am staying consistent about because he's been consistent with me.
Oh, okay. Interesting take.
I might have to go. I mean, pretty much what you said. I'm not gonna sit here and waste another 1 minute repeating the same thing. You hear that? You're saying the same shit that he said. I'm not doing that.
Yelling at the mic.
But you get what I'm saying. So
yeah, absolutely.
He's earned it. I'm sorry. I mean, he's earned it. There's only a couple players I could say they came close to ending it or to earning it.
Yeah. We're gonna go away from the positives just for a moment. This is actually a new award. I don't think we did it on the last episode, or not the last episode, but the last award ceremony for the first quarter mark. Most disappointing team this season. And if we did, I think we just chose the team that didn't have any wins at the time. But most disappointing team. It can be a team that was pretty good last year, not doing so well this year. It could be a team with a bad record. It depends on how you define most disappointing team.
What's the reward, or what's the non-award again?
Oh, the most disappointing team of the year. Depends on how you define it. You just have to explain to the audience.
No. What? This is gonna. I know you pretty much answered it, but I just want to throw this out there. There are different ways to say that you can say disappointment. You can say because of the way they're playing, because of injuries, because of
potential
not being able to end games. Like, what do you mean?
Well, that's what you're gonna get a chance to do, is define it based on your answer. So, for example, if you were to pick, I don't know, if you were to pick the 49ers, it's because they only have like one win this year. Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt. We expected them to be better. It could be stuff like that. So it's just based on your scenario, pretty much.
You know where I'm going. You just gave me permission. You know where I'm going with it.
Alrighty, well, this is interesting.
The Atlanta Falcons.
I was not expecting that. Go ahead, sir.
Really? What
Well,
did you expect me to say?
I think it's because I brought up injuries. That's why you're like, oh yeah, the Atlanta Falcons for sure.
No, that's why I asked. I said, can you do injuries, or is disappointment about injuries?
Sure, you can be disappointed that they're injured and that, you know,
All right.
hey,
Well,
that's in there.
I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons. Okay. Main reason is because they were supposed to be a really good team coming into this year, and it's something that has held them back. And what that something is that has held them back is injuries. It's been a big factor in their games this year, and it's pretty much cost them to right now being 3-4. And you got three. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. The reason they're disappointed is because you got the injuries on mainly the defensive side of the ball. You Dion, Keanu Neal, and then various injuries around it. That's not even Ricardo Allen. That's maybe not season ending, but it's they're like for like a couple weeks at a time, like Grady Jarrett. But let me hit on the guys that are out for the season right now. Okay, so you got Deion Jones, a top 5 linebacker in the league. This is me being me. If you don't agree, you don't agree. Keanu Neal, I really can't rank him at safety yet about how good he is in the league. I wanted one more year. I could have done it after this year, but he got hurt. So I'm not going to be biased about jumping to the conclusion. And you say, how can you do that about Deion? But I've seen, like, you see more of a middle linebacker than you do of a safety. Like,
Sure.
You heard Deion's name called out more than you heard Keanu Neal's name called out, you know? So Deion, big factor in this defense. He's the main reason why we are a good defense, because he can control that middle, and then you got a hard-hitting, pretty good coverage guy in Keanu Neal, and then your starting free safety goes out, which is also big. But and then, like I was saying earlier, the various injuries that maybe not been season-ending, but they happened. Greg Jarrett missed 2 weeks. If he was there, most likely could have won, but some of the games that we lost during the time because of running the ball. This week you got Robert Alford. He's not playing. We're injury bug this year. It's like there's nothing that the Falcons can do because there's so many injuries, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's why they're disappointed. That's why they having a disappointing season, because as maybe not even a Falcon fan, but as an NFL fan that's been watching, you expect more from this team, and more is not what they got. So I'll move it on.
Yeah, a lot of teams had them, or not a lot of teams, a lot of fans, analysts had these guys as a potential Super Bowl favorite. Of course, the Super Bowl is taking place in Atlanta, and never say never. I mean, Deion will come back. Who knows? Maybe they just get hot. I mean, some of the really good quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks, they get hot in December. We'll see if Matty Ice got something up his sleeve. You never know. Don't throw the towel in too early. I will say that as a word of encouragement. And you know what, Aaron? I'm such a sweetheart. I'm going to give you 2 answers because I just couldn't decide, because they're both legitimate. Actually, 3 answers because they're all just disappointing. You ready for this? I'm firing rapid shots. 3 teams.
Go for it.
Let's start out with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's just start there. Philadelphia, I didn't expect them to make the Super Bowl this year, but you know there's always that little caveat. Oh, you won the Super Bowl. Well, you know what the expectation is, to get back to it. And I don't see them getting back to it. I don't see them making it out of the divisional round. As I said in an earlier podcast earlier this year, I don't even see them making it out of the divisional. They're 4-4. Their defense isn't particularly great. Their offensive line hasn't played up to the level that we know they could play at, even with or without Jason Peters in the lineup. And then my second team, the good old Saxonville Jaguars. What have they done this year? 3-5? They're pretty disappointing too. And I know this team, defensive juggernaut, supposedly, and Blake Bortles, we knew what we were getting with him. Got to make the playoffs for Blake Bortles to turn up the intensity. But this defense the last 4 weeks has not looked particularly well. And I know, JJ, it's a 4-week stretch. There's 16 games in the NFL. It's not the NBA. You can't take nights off in football. So no excuses for Jacksonville. You're that great, prove it. And then finally, it was a tie, honestly, between my Packers and Minnesota. But I'm going to go with Minnesota because they're way more stacked, way more talented. On defense, anyway. On offense, Kirk Cousins is the dude. Adam Thielen's been putting on a show this year, but outside of Adam Thielen and Kirk Cousins, not much to talk about in Minnesota. Just saying, that defense hasn't played well. They're what? They have like the same. What are they like? I can't even remember their record. I think they're also 3-1, just like the Packers. That's why I threw the Packers in there as a caveat. But Minnesota, man, this was supposed to be their division to lose this season, and they're certainly going to lose it if they don't turn things around.
No, it ain't over. I will say that.
Yeah, it's not over. But that's why I said if they don't turn it around quickly, all of a sudden Chicago can get rolling. Green Bay, if they can get past this stretch with like the Patriots, Vikings, Seahawks, who knows? And, the Lions, anyone? Thanksgiving Matthew Stafford, who knows? I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Minnesota needs to pick it up if they want to be that team.
No. I'm not gonna lie like this, but just more bonus coverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would the Packers be disappointing?
You're gonna do that. Well, they're disappointed. Well, let's see. You got to be consistent.
Can I say something real quick?
If you're gonna say something about the defense, I need to hear it. Go ahead.
Well, it's not even that. I just want to ask: is this one of the reasons? It's because you got Aaron back after injury, and you expected him to win more games, or is that without being biased about it?
No, because one player doesn't win football games. Let's just start there. Now, one player can make a play to win a football game. One player ain't winning the whole game by himself. I will say this. I expected the play calling to be a little better. I expected the defense with a new defensive coordinator, a well-respected defensive coordinator, to be a little bit more consistent with his play calling. And I expected these boys to be ramped up. We got our guy back. We need to play for him. The newly highest paid quarterback. We got to play for this guy. And they just ain't doing it. They're not doing it. Now, they do it against the Bills. They showed up on Sunday against the Rams. I thought that was their greatest performance of the season outside of the Bills, for sure, because, I mean, what that game showed us, that's why I said the Rams are beatable, because they showed us if you get to Jared Goff, he's an average quarterback. But when he has time to sit there and make all the throws with all the great plays that Sean McVay draws up, he's going to look like that MVP candidate. So there's my answer. I just need consistency from the defense, the offensive line, the receivers. Aaron Rodgers has only thrown one interception this year, and that was a tip pass by Jimmy Graham, but it's still an interception nonetheless. I've been pretty vocal about that too. But I just need consistency.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham got y'all an interception.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham did it. That new $10 million a year tight end that we barely even throw it to.
That was him, really?
Nah, seriously, I think he caught one pass against the Rams.
He's Jimmy Graham. Throw him the ball.
Get open. I don't think you trust him. I think there's a trust factor there. Because if Aaron Rodgers is more willing to throw it to his rookie wide receivers than Jimmy Graham, there's a problem.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. No offense to Jimmy Graham either. So, all right, now let me flip the script on you. So you're saying the Falcons are inconsistent because of injuries.
Right.
So if they were healthy and they were 3 and 4, what would you be saying?
Well, that wouldn't happen because they're godlike. Godlike else.
Well,
they wouldn't beat 3 and 4. They would have beat the Saints.
I'm saying, I just said what if. I just said what if. I didn't say, oh yeah, you'd beat the Bengals, you beat the Saints. I just said what if.
That's a totally different question than when I asked you. Like, you didn't tell me yet. Why I just asked you why would they be inconsistent? Like, I've already answered, and I said it was because of the defense. So
Yeah.
There's no other reason why they would be inconsistent.
Yeah, that's why I gave you a scenario. I said what if.
What if what? If there's nothing other than the defense.
So
That's
okay.
Their offense is playing phenomenal.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. So it'd be the defense. So we're in the same boat.
Oh, that's what you're getting at.
I mean, I know the offense is playing phenomenal. Go check out the numbers. They're one of the best offenses in the league. I don't think anyone's gonna doubt that. Look at the quarterback. Look at the wide receiver core. When healthy, the running backs. I know Freeman's on IR until like what, week 14, week 15.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we know what that offense is about, obviously. But that's why I asked, what if y'all were to go 3 and 4? What would be the main issue there, or the disappointing factor?
Yeah, and I literally, there's no other reason why we would go 3 and 4 without the defense. Unless the defense, something's wrong with the defense.
Alright, that's all I wanted to know. I wasn't trying to do any narrative changing. I really just wanted to know. Rookie of the year on offense. We'll just do like a few more. Rookie of the year on offense.
You're gonna be mad, dude. You know.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say
Calvin.
it. At least you've been consistent about that.
Calvin Ridley.
Why not Baker?
Jeez. No, fuck no. Hey, Calvin Ridley. Nothing towards Baker. You know how I feel about Baker, but there's. Let me see here. Like the passion that he brings to that team, the way he plays, everything about him, man. He's like the way he runs his routes, the way maybe I don't think he's leading the NFL anymore, right? Maybe by like.
If he is, he's either tied with somebody or he's got it by one. I don't know.
I think he's tied to somebody. But now, like I said, things changes. So maybe in like 6 weeks, things should happen. But as of right now, I still would have to go with Calvin Ridley just because of what he does for that team. I mean, they're other than he's second behind Julio in third down. For third down, what's the word?
Conversions.
The conversions / like the guy that Matt Ryan looks to.
Oh, so like the most targeted receiver on third down.
Yeah. He's the second most targeted receiver on third down as a rookie, in front of Mohamed Sanu, which was number 2 last year.
On the team or on the league? Okay, I was about to say. Anyway, yeah, continue.
But I mean, there's not that. Like I said, man, you can make an argument for everybody, but especially coming, like I've seen him play every Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've got to like sit there and watch his I've seen everything he done, every route he run most of the time, and I mean he's rookie of the year to me. That's who I'm going with.
Yeah, I think he's been the most consistent offensive rookie. That's probably why I would go with Calvin Ridley. He's just been the most consistent. Yeah, that's who I'm going with.
Oh shit, really?
He's been the most consistent. Baker Mayfield, he's on the Browns. He's exempt, but you know, he's been the most consistent. You know, you can't really point at any of the rookie quarterbacks and be like, oh yeah. Actually, no, I'm gonna vote Patrick Mahomes because I'm gonna pull a Ben Simmons.
Patrick Mahomes is a rookie, bro.
He played a game last year.
I'm kidding.
I was literally saying that to trigger someone who thinks he's, you know, a rookie. But seriously though, Calvin Ridley, he's been the most consistent. Yeah, that's basically it. He's been consistent. He's been productive. That's what you ask for, and your top picks. Now, do you have an award that you would like to present? It can be good or bad.
Isn't there no offensive player of the year?
Yeah, I mean, there's an offensive player of the year.
Why you say it like that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. When I think of awards, that's not the first one that comes to mind, but I like your enthusiasm.
What comes to mind with you?
I'm thinking of like the main awards, like MVP, defensive player of the year.
You said you didn't want to get to that yet.
Oh, I know, but you know, offensive player of the year, fine. I'll give you an answer. Todd Gurley, most touchdowns, yeah, Todd Gurley, no doubt.
Same for me.
I don't think I have to tell anybody why.
That's over. Yeah. MVP. Fine. Fuck you. I'm going there.
All right. Who's your MVP?
Why you want me to go first?
I mean, this is the third time you've brought it up, so I figured maybe you had someone in mind.
Patrick Mahomes.
Why are you picking Patrick Mahomes again? Let's hear this.
Look what he's done for that team. I mean, dude, he's blowing the league out in touchdowns. Like, it's not even, he's not even close. Nobody's even close to him, which just says something right there. What else should I say? And also what he brings to that team. Again, like I was talking about with Calvin, just like the hype, people get near him, the way his teammates respect him. You know what I'm saying? And he is definitely their most valuable player. As of right now.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Oh shit! Here we go. Yeah, what's up, bro?
Oh boy. Okay, so here's the question: do you think he's more of a product of the system, or do you think he's just that damn good?
As of right now, I think he's that damn good.
So, no Andy Reid influence. He's just that good.
I believe so. As of right now, like I said, that can change. Trust me.
You know, I could have swore you told me something the other day about Patrick Mahomes and his hype, but I'm not even gonna touch that. That's okay. He is the correct answer, though.
No. You have to go there. You have to go there now.
I'm pretty sure I recall you saying that the NFL's been sucking his dick a lot, and Madden too.
Hey. Now, that does happen sometimes, but we say the same thing about Tom Brady, but he's the GOAT. So what? We say that people be sucking his dick, but that doesn't mean that he's not great.
Yeah, but ain't nobody talking about Tom Brady. Ain't nobody talking about. Why are we talking about Tom Brady? This is about Patrick Mahomes. This is about Patrick. He's not a rookie.
I'm just kidding.
Nobody. That's weird. Why is Tom Brady's name being associated with Patrick Mahomes? Like that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. His name that's disrespectful to Tom Brady.
All right, now though, seriously though, if Patrick Mahomes becomes great,
if he becomes great, congratulations. Thank you for being a great quarterback that I got to sit here and watch for 15 plus years. Thank you. But do you feel like he's a product of that system, or do you actually think in your mind he's just that good? What do you personally think?
See, see what you're trying to do here. All right.
Because you said he's overhyped, so you're going to pick an overhyped player to win the MVP award.
Things change, JJ. Opinions change.
What changed? We need consistency.
Oh God.
What changed? The fact that he lost to the Patriots?
Not even, dude. I knew Tom Brady was going to win that, or I knew the Patriots was going to win that game.
I did too.
But Patrick, they did play their heart out.
So A for effort.
A for effort.
I thought the Packers played the Rams good, but they didn't win. So there's that.
A for effort. Good job, guys. Try again next week.
Don't care. They lost. Move on. Well, I'm actually going to pick a guy who I cannot believe he's not won the MVP, and he definitely deserves it. I'm picking Drew Brees. Yeah. I'm picking Drew Brees. After his terrible game against the Vikings, I'm picking Drew Brees. It's about damn time he's won the award. And I am going against my word. I did pick Patrick Mahomes like you, but screw that. Drew Brees deserves it. I'm picking Drew Brees to win the MVP. He's played well. Unlike Patrick Mahomes, he's been undefeated in this portion of the NFL season. Even though we all suspected, the Patriots were going to win. Okay, I guess games are predetermined, but I'm just playing. Anyway, Drew Brees, you look at the weapons. Yeah, he's got Kamara, he's got Ingram, he's got Thomas. But all we ever heard about this entire season is the Chiefs' weapons. And yet I don't hear nothing about Sammy Watkins, who's one of those weapons. What is going on with that?
I feel you. But, I mean, I'm not, you know how I feel about Drew Brees. But, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, bro. There's people put most valuable player out of context, and I'm tired. It's every year, and I'm getting tired of it. Seriously, like Tom Brady shouldn't have won it last year, but they gave it to him because he's Tom Brady. But you got most valuable player, man. It's more than people say it is. Like I'm trying to think of examples, but just to make a point, like just because. Let me see this. It's like what you do to that team, man. Nobody wants to think of what that means, what that aspect of most valuable. I'm not going to say this quite yet, but I'm going to throw this out there, okay, because of what ended up happening last year. When Alex Smith made him have that really good start, okay, and they choked it. You know how they went on that bad losing streak. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm just going to throw this out here. If he makes it where he doesn't end up choking it and they keep that good record, that's the most valuable player, bro. Like, there's not. Drew Brees is second now. See, but there's so many good players, man. I mean, just to throw this out there, why do we always automatically assume a quarterback needs to be MVP? Why can't we give it to Todd Gurley, or you know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
Like, other than quarterback, who should have won it last year? Todd Gurley. That's Gurley. How I feel. Todd Gurley should have won it last year. But nobody talks about that because everybody assumes that a quarterback is going to be the most valuable player. And honestly, if I knew that, or if I automatically knew that the NFL wouldn't just automatically go with a quarterback, then hell yeah, it's most likely Todd Gurley because of what he does for that team, But because I know that Todd Gurley isn't going to win it because of how the NFL goes or how the voting goes, I'm not going to sit here and waste my time and say that Todd Gurley is the MVP. He deserves to be the MVP, but he's not going to be because guess what? He's not a quarterback. He's a halfback. He's a running back.
Those are some very, very interesting points, I might say. Okay, so you said Todd Gurley should have probably won it last year, right? I think we can both agree.
Right.
Between I think if Carson Wentz hadn't have got hurt, I think personally I would have picked Carson Wentz. It would have been pretty close. But between those two, yeah. But between those two, yeah, and mainly because head to head, Philadelphia did beat the Rams. They both played well, Todd Gurley and Carson Wentz.
Now if Carson, never mind. I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now if Todd Gurley had the same stats this year as he did, or if he had the same stats last year as he did last year, what am I saying? If he had, how he has how many touchdowns this year?
I lost count. All I know is he's closer to 20 than he is 10. That's all I know.
Right. Say he had the same amount of stats this year. What? Same amount.
If he had the same stat line last year, yeah.
Yeah. Then I would still have to give it to Todd Gurley. And Carson Wentz had the same stat line as he did last year, obviously. I would still give it to Todd Gurley. Now, obviously Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz did, because he got injured, then that kind of moved him out of it. So pretty much Todd Gurley versus Carson Wentz last year, I would give it to Carson Wentz. But this year's Todd Gurley versus last year's Carson Wentz, I would have to give it to Todd Gurley.
I would go Todd Gurley too. Now it's interesting. You said that what were you saying about Tom Brady? You said the most valuable player, they gave it to him because it's Tom Brady. Then how come the NFL hasn't given it to Drew Brees because he's Drew Brees yet?
But you also have to sit here and say that Drew Brees is probably the most underrated quarterback in history.
Popular opinion. I think he kind of is, but he's universally known as one of the greatest to play. So I don't see how he's underrated. But okay.
And that's why I say that is because they don't just give him enough respect as he deserves. Honestly, he could have 2 MVPs, more than that. But that's just the way it is,
Yeah, but that's why I was asking. You said Tom Brady, basically shouldn't have got the MVP, and I thought that was interesting. And you brought up the whole valuable thing, but Tom Brady's the GOAT. That's what I keep hearing. I think a lot of people would agree that that's pretty much factual. But if he's the GOAT, then why would we take away an MVP potentially from Tom Brady, the GOAT?
Because Todd Gurley played better as a different position. I'm not. And if you want to go that route with it, then you can sit here and say that if you want to go by skills and stuff, then you can sit here and say Aaron should have more, Drew should have more, Tom should have more, and all around, players. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not how it goes. It's about most of the time who wins that MVP is who can make it to the postseason, later in the postseason, and that's how it goes. I mean, Aaron Rodgers could have one of the best seasons that he's ever had before, but not make the playoffs, and Tom Brady can make it to the championship game, and who's gonna win that MVP?
Of course, but that's one of my big issues. Why are we basing a regular season award on what you do in the postseason?
That's what I'm saying. That's how I feel about it too.
I don't get it, because we see it in other sports. In other sports, it's the same way. Maybe a little bit of a different narrative or a different approach, but it's basically the same thing. People want to factor in, they made it to the championship game and their team won the most games. We have to give it to this guy, and I don't necessarily think that's the case. And I think a lot of people get it confused. MVP, most valuable player, couldn't that be said about a lot of quarterbacks though? Because quarterbacks are the most valuable position, and I do respect the Todd Gurley answer as well. The last running back we saw won the damn thing was Adrian Peterson, and he, what he had to do to get it? Get 2,000 yards and damn near 20 touchdowns.
Yep.
And Gurley's on pace to do both. So if that's what it takes to win MVP for Todd Gurley, he better get it this year.
But he's not.
Most likely not.
Because they're going to give it to Mahomes, or they're going to give it to whoever makes it to the Super Bowl or the championship game. That's who's going to win it. That's who's going to win.
It just doesn't make sense, because if you want to go the route of most valuable to a team or just most valuable to the league, then how come Russell Wilson's never in that conversation? If you took Russell Wilson last season off the Seattle Seahawks, they would be the Browns. We pretty much saw that with Aaron Rodgers. I strongly feel the same way about Russell Wilson. As bad as that team was last season overall, even with Russell Wilson, imagine if he wasn't on the team. Imagine if he had an injury like Aaron Rodgers and sat out mainly the rest of the year.
Would have been rough.
Exactly. I think he should be, not this season, but last season, probably an MVP candidate. But you want to know why he never got mentioned? Because they won 8 games.
They didn't make it.
Straight
Not
up.
even that, because they didn't make it to the playoffs.
Because he won 8 games. But if you look at his stats, he probably should have been in the conversation. And that's what I don't understand. A team success is team success. What you accomplish as a player statistically, that's you. You know, and I feel like that's how it should be. You can't just reward players the MVP, not only because they have great stats, of course, that's what the award comes down to, but you can't just base it off, oh, well, they made it to the Super Bowl, or they made it to the AFC Championship, or the NFC Championship. That's a stupid narrative. In that case, Nick Foles should have won it.
And then I want to sit here and say that this MVP should go to whoever. If you take that guy away from the team, they're trash. But in all reality, if you take probably about 25 out of the 32 quarterbacks, those teams are going to be trash. So that's why I can't think of it that way. You know what I'm saying? If you took Matt from the Falcons, trash. If you took Aaron from the Green Bay, trash. If you took Tom from Patriots, if you trash. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Let's go back to Tom Brady being injured for an entire year.
Yeah.
They went 11-5 without him.
Yep. I know.
So I can't even necessarily say that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's all Belichick. But at the same time, it's not all Brady either. It's a 50-50 split, if you were to ask me. Great coach. It's the same thing in basketball. And I know I bring up a lot of basketball. It's like, this is a football podcast. Why you keep talking about basketball? The same thing, you know, the whole Michael Jordan, LeBron thing. Oh, you know, this guy didn't play with any good coaches. Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson. Top 3, top 5 coach all time. That's why everyone's like, oh, well, when he left, they won 55 games. Yeah, that's what great coaching does. If LeBron had Greg Popovich, I'm pretty sure they'd find a way to win 50 games without him. Because he's done it before. Why can't he do it again? And Belichick, same thing. He won 11 games without Brady. If Brady ended up, you know, retiring from football before Bill, am I going to sit here and say, oh, well, Bill's not going to do anything? No, he could probably go 500 or better. So to me, it just comes down to that's the way I look at MVP. I think it should be most valuable to the league and to your team. It should be some sort of threshold, because I think it's unfair to guys who give it their all for the team, and they also happen to be one of the faces of the league, and they don't get no type of recognition for the award.
That's just the way it is.
Well, I don't like it. Got any others you want to touch on before we probably wrap it up?
Kicker of the year.
None of them. They're all disqualified.
Yeah. I have to give it to Matt Bryant. Alright. That's it.
That's it? You sure that's it? By the way, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? You still sticking with your picks?
Honestly, JJ, go ahead and remind me what my picks was.
Interesting.
Jaguars versus...
It was like the Jaguars versus the Rams, I think.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think it was the Rams.
Okay, not the Rams. I know you didn't pick the Falcons because I didn't pick the Packers. I don't think you picked the Eagles because we all said they would be gone by the divisional. I think Jaguars, Vikings. Jaguars, Vikings. That's who you picked.
That's it. I still agree with the NFC.
Interesting.
Still gonna go Vikings.
But the playoff Bortles. You're gonna go against that?
They have to make the playoffs for playoff Bortles.
Same thing with Minnesota, but I think they will. You know, like I said.
They will.
Like I said.
Um,
So now, who do you have replacing the Jaguars?
Jaguars, they've already lost 5, right? The Jaguars have already lost 5.
Yeah, they could go 11 and
That's
5.
pathetic.
Never know.
That's pathetic. That is pathetic.
You picked them. I'm just playing. I picked the Steelers.
You had them going 12 and 2 or 13 and 3. So we both can't
the
say
Jaguars. No, I had them going 10 and 6. Go watch the video.
anything. You had the Jaguars going 10 and 6.
10 and 6.
I will go watch the video to prove you wrong.
I need the views. Go ahead and watch it. 10 and 6. Because remember, I had like two AFC teams with a 9 and 7 record going to the wild card, and I had 3 teams or maybe 2 with like 10 wins.
My predictions were more. My predictions have been more accurate than yours so far.
We'd have to go back and look at it.
But no, I'm just kidding. Obviously, everything we said in the last 4 minutes, we've been playing around.
But who would you replace the Jaguar? I'll let you, change it, obviously. But who would you replace Jacksonville with?
No, I can't do that. I'm sticking with the Jaguars Vikings.
And I'm still sticking with the Saints and the Steelers. Even if they both get eliminated, I'm picking them both. Because I have to. Because remember when the Saints lost to the Bucks, everyone's like messing around like, oh, it's not too late to change your pick. Nah, buddy, the Saints are 7-1. The Steelers I'm a little bit more worried about, but as long as they make the postseason and the Patriots somehow get eliminated, I think they'll be okay. But I'm gonna stick with my prediction. Saints winning. I think Drew Brees just needs to get another ring and retire, or come back and go back to back. I don't know, whatever he plans on doing.
No, if he wins the Super Bowl, he better retire. Like you always end on a ring, bro.
Or halftime.
Yeah.
Or the mid-season point like DRC did. Anyway, you want to wrap it up, Aaron?
How would you like to end this? This is the way we normally do?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this masterpiece of a podcast. I hope you'll actually watch it.
For sure.
Reviews.
For sure.
Because you don't know how much time we put into these things. Like, we really do appreciate y'all coming and checking it out. But in order for us to appreciate it, you have to go check it out. So anyways, hope you guys have liked this edition of J&A Podcast. Any awards that you disagree with, just put them in the comment section, and me and JJ will gladly disagree with you.
We will gladly take you on. So go ahead.
And nobody's done that yet, so they don't want to get embarrassed.
They don't exactly. They ain't trying to get staged.
Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Go show some love to our channels. We put a lot of work into this. Alright. I hope you guys enjoy.
Peace.